Paris, December. The lights from Haussmann Boulevard shimmered on the glass facade of the Moreau Automobiles headquarters, casting a faint reflection of Elena Moreau, the only black woman leading an independent luxury car brand in Europe. She stood still by the window of her 42nd floor office, one hand holding a cup of black tea, the other gripping a printed letter, one page, no branding, no pomp. And yet every line read like a slap from the very brand she built. I visited the Moreau showroom in Beverly Hills hoping to see the Seraphim RS. I wore a tailored suit, Oxford shoes, and my bank account could cover the full price in cash. I was ignored. A staff member glanced at me and turned away. When I asked for assistance, they directed me to the Ambra 3 tiers below what I came for. Meanwhile, a white man dressed more casually was offered an espresso, handed a catalog, and taken straight to the Seraphim RS. I used to believe Moreau stood above prejudice. Maybe I was wrong. Signed, Adrian Keller. Zurich, Switzerland. Elena lowered herself into the black leather chair behind her desk. The letter, held delicately between her fingers, felt light as paper but hit her like stone, heavy with the weight of every ideal she once swore to uphold. She had vowed Moreau Automobiles would never become like the aging brands of Germany or Britain, where clients were judged by a glance. She had believed that with enough talent, enough passion, she could rewrite the rules of the luxury car world. But this letter, it reminded her, prejudice doesn't die. It just changes disguise. Elena placed the letter down and picked up her phone. Catherine, get me a private line to the Los Angeles office. No internal system. Yes, Ms. Moreau, came Catherine's Scottish accented voice, as precise as ever. Elena knew, if she was going to investigate this, no one in the company could know. No systems, no notes, no emails. 10 minutes later, she was on a private call with Lucas Varga, head of the Americas market. Beverly Hills is our flagship showroom. Who's in charge there? Tristan Webb. Came from Bentley. Sharp. High performer. Any complaints about his behavior? Nothing formal. But I wouldn't be surprised. He's picky about his team. Thanks, Lucas. Don't alert anyone. I'm flying to LA this week. She hung up. No internal memos. No chauffeurs. No regional directors tagging along. She was going as an unknown customer, no title, no spotlight. An hour later, in the wardrobe room on the lower floor, Elena dressed herself. Dark jeans, plain white shirt, black sneakers. No Hermes bag. No Patek Philippe watch. She stared at the mirror, not a CEO, just a woman walking into a showroom to buy a car. And so she flew. No business class. No biometric scans at the VIP lounge. This trip wasn't about cars. It was about the truth. The next morning, when the plane landed in Los Angeles, the sun hadn't yet broken through. No one knew Elena Moreau was in the U.S., except for her assistant Catherine, the only person she trusted with absolute silence. A black SUV rented via a rideshare app waited outside LAX. Elena sat in the back seat, checking no five-star hotel, flanked by no entourage. She pulled up Google Maps herself and typed in the address for the Beverly Hills showroom, Wilshire Boulevard, where everything gleamed like it had been built solely to appear on Instagram. The Moreau Automobiles sign appeared in the distance, glass, steel, and white marble. A showroom gleaming in the California sun, luxurious yet soulless. Elena inhaled deeply, then stepped out of the car. Today she was nobody. A black woman, plainly dressed, walking into a luxury car showroom. No bodyguards, no surname, no appointment. The glass doors slid open automatically. No one greeted her. No eyes turned to her for the first 5 seconds. 6, 7. A blonde receptionist in a beige suit finally looked up. Hello, can I help you? Elena offered a polite smile. I'd like to see the Seraphim RS. In graphite black, if available. There was a slight pause, not long enough to be offensive, but just enough for Elena to catch it. The receptionist's eyes flicked over her jeans, then her unbranded black sneakers. The Seraphim RS. Oh, that model. I'll have to check with our sales team. No offer to sit. No follow-up questions. The receptionist walked off, courteous in tone, but utterly cold. Elena remained standing, hands in her jacket pockets, watching. A white man walked in chinos polo shirt. Nothing remarkable. But instantly, a male sales associate approached, beaming. Good morning, sir. Here for your appointment? Would you like an espresso while you wait? Elena glanced sideways. No surprise. Everything was unfolding exactly as Adrian Keller had described. 3 minutes later, a man appeared. Tall, white, dark brown hair, navy suit with a pocket square. His face looked like it had been carved for Swiss watch ads. "Good morning," he said smoothly. "I'm Tristan Webb, showroom manager. I hear you wanted to see the Seraphim RS." "I do," Elena replied, tone unchanged. Tristan eyed her, an unmistakable glint of assessment. "That model isn't on display today. It's reserved for a VIP preview. Viewing is by appointment only." Elena tilted her head slightly. "I see it right there." Tristan gave a quick glance toward the car. "It's reserved for a private session. I don't need to test drive it, just want to see the interior," she said calmly. "I've been following the line since the concept release." Tristan smiled politely, a hollow smile. "I'm sorry, but we reserve personalized experiences for clients with appropriate financial profiles. No request for her name, no offer to assist further." Elena knew she could hand him her business card. Just 4 words, "I'm Elena Moreau," and every door would fly open. But today, she wasn't here to be respected because of power. She was here to prove that those without power deserved dignity too. She nodded, stepping back. "Thank you. I understand." Elena didn't leave immediately. She sat on a leather chair by the front window, phone in hand, pretending to scroll. But her eyes followed every interaction. The white man was now standing beside the Seraphim RS. Tristan grinned, hand resting on the hood, speaking with pride. A cappuccino was brought to him. An Asian woman entered, well-dressed, confident. She was led to the Ambra. No mention of the Seraphim. A black man came in next, wearing a Patek Philippe. He was handed a catalog. No seat offered. Elena watched, memorized. When the clock struck 10:58, she stood, walked out of the showroom. No one stopped her. Across the street, in a small cafe, she sat at a windowside table. She didn't write, didn't take a photo, didn't call Catherine. She just looked back at the showroom, brazen in its courteous silence, then pulled out her phone. "Daniel," she said calmly, "it's time. Let's begin." Maria Lentz adjusted the collar of her beige blazer as she stepped into the employee lounge. She was 27, Portuguese, a graduate of a business school in Lyon, and had moved to Los Angeles 2 years ago, hoping to make her mark in the luxury industry. At first, landing a job at Moreau Beverly Hills had felt like a dream. But within 3 months, she realized the showroom's beauty was only skin deep. She sank into a leather chair beside the mini fridge and unlocked her phone. A new message in the internal group chat blinked on the screen. "Tristan. Client this morning, female, black, jeans, sneakers, not a priority. Don't waste time." Her heart pounded. She had seen the woman calm, poised, eyes sharp like a surgeon's blade. She hadn't known who she was, but something about that glance had felt wrong. And now she knew. That was the boss. She didn't tell anyone. Not because she feared Tristan, but because she wasn't ready to lose everything. Once she spoke up, there would be no going back. Tristan wasn't the forgiving type. He smiled politely, but behind every grin were reminders sharp as razors. "You're only here because I let you be. Don't forget that." That afternoon, when the showroom had quieted, Maria was reviewing the VIP list when the internal line rang. "Maria Lentz?" A man's voice, French crisp and soft. "Yes, speaking. I'm Daniel Roux, executive assistant at HQ in Paris. May I have 5 minutes? Privately." Maria shot up, eyes scanning the surveillance office. "Empty. I'm listening." "I won't ask you anything," he said. "I just want you to know Madame Moreau saw what happened today. She came in, and she saw enough." Maria clutched the phone. "You don't need to confirm anything. But if you want change, real change, call this number." He read out each digit slowly, clearly. "When you're ready. No pressure." He hung up. Maria slumped back into her seat, chest heavy as stone. She felt both relieved and terrified. Someone had finally seen. But if she called back, would it destroy everything? That night, in her small West Hollywood apartment, Maria opened her laptop. She searched Elena Moreau, not to read about her fame, but to look into the eyes of the woman she had silently ignored that morning. Articles poured in. From engineer to Europe's new luxury icon. The woman who shook the Rhone Valley with the continent's most advanced EVs. Elena Moreau, true power is when you no longer need to prove anything. Maria froze at that last headline. The quote hit her like an accusation. She shut the laptop, picked up the phone, hesitated. Her hand trembled. And finally she dialed the number Daniel had given her. 2 rings. Rue speaking. This is Maria. Lentz. A pause. Then a calm, steady female voice took over. Thank you for calling. For the first time, Maria heard Elena Moreau's voice, not through press releases, not through corporate filters, but as a real person. Not angry. Not accusing. Just one sentence that made Maria want to finally speak. I don't know where to begin. But what you saw today, it's not a one-time thing. It happens all the time. It's not random. I know. I just needed someone to confirm it. Maria gripped the phone tighter, voice cracking. We have a classification list. They call it potential profiling, but it's really just filtering out who's worth the time. Do you have proof? I have the training logs, internal emails, group chat messages. And if needed, I can walk through the whole process from spotting non-priority clients to redirecting them. Elena's voice remained level. I'm not asking you to be a hero. I just want the truth. And if you're willing, I'll protect you. Maria looked up at the ceiling. For the first time in months, something in her chest felt lighter. A weight she'd carried too long had finally shifted. I'll do it. I'm tired of pretending not to see. On the other end of the line, Elena closed her eyes and nodded gently. The first piece had moved. 3 a.m. in Paris. Elena Moreau was wide awake. The hotel room at Le Muris was dimly lit by the reading lamp beside her latest EV design sketches. But her thoughts weren't on the future. They were trapped in the past 24 hours, inside a glass-walled showroom in Beverly Hills, where she had walked in like a ghost. Her laptop was open, webcam off. On the screen, an internal global map of Moreau Automobile's showrooms, each location coded by complaint frequency, sales performance, and one discrete metric: the conversion rate between white clients and non-white clients. The Beverly Hills showroom was beyond question now. The disparity was nearly 3-1. Daniel, Elena said into her Bluetooth earpiece. It's time. Have you prepared the decoys? Daniel Rue's voice answered calmly from the Paris HQ. Ready. 2 individuals. Same gender, same age bracket, identical outfits. 1 white, 1 black. And both with net worths above 5 million euros? Precisely. The white client is Julian Carrere, an investor from Nice. The black client is Kofi Mensah, energy fund director, originally from Ghana, now based in Geneva. Elena nodded slightly. They'll walk into Beverly Hills tomorrow morning, both asking to see the Seraphim RS. No prior appointment. And I've got a hidden camera in Julian's watch, Daniel added, plus a flycam across the street for full coverage. Elena smiled faintly, not out of satisfaction, but because at last, she wouldn't need to argue her case. The truth would speak for itself. Beverly Hills, 10:03 a.m. Julian Carrere walked in first. Tall white, wearing a crisp white shirt, gray slacks, polished brown leather shoes. No flashy watch, no designer wallet. He barely crossed the threshold when a salesperson disengaged from a conversation and approached. Good morning, sir. How may I help you? I'm interested in the Seraphim RS. Is it available for viewing? Not a second of hesitation. Of course. Please follow me. Would you like an espresso while we walk? The hidden camera in Julian's watch caught everything. He was led directly to the vehicle. The hood was opened. Interior specs were explained, leather options, dashboard configurations, exclusive packages. 10:17 a.m. Kofi Mensah entered. Taller, athletic, wearing the same outfit as Julian. A vintage Omega on his wrist. Clean cut. Gentle smile. He approached the reception desk. I'd like to see the Seraphim RS. Is it available? The receptionist glanced briefly, no appointment logged. That model isn't currently on display. But I can show you the Ambra GT. It's quite impressive as well. I'm not interested in the Ambra. I've allocated a budget specifically for the RS. I understand, but our current policy requires appointments. If you'd like to leave your information, we can contact you. Kofi nodded politely and left. He didn't need to do anything else. Existing was enough. 11:45 a.m. Cafe across the street. Elena sat at a window table reviewing both videos. No fast forward. No commentary. Just observation. Daniel, she said without looking away, send the first cut to Louisa Hartman at Le Monde. Not as an exposé. Present it as an exclusive investigation. And internally? I'm forwarding it directly to Claudine Girard, chair of the board, along with Maria Lentz's report, and the full string of internal emails detailing the client filtering system. Daniel paused. So, we're going public? Elena closed her eyes. No, Daniel. We're not starting. We're ending the silence. Now the wind begins to rise. Paris, 8 a.m. local time. The executive board meeting of Moreau Automobiles convened in the main conference room at the Montparnasse headquarters. A space of glass walls and the silence of power. 12 people sat around the table, each one handpicked by Elena Moreau, or inherited from the legacy system when the company expanded globally. At the head of the table sat Claudine Girard, chairwoman of the board. Her gray hair was neatly pinned back, her gaze as sharp as a scalpel. She placed a dossier on the table. No one spoke. No one needed to. The report's title read, "The selected client, covert discrimination in premium sales practices at Moreau Automobiles, case study, Beverly Hills." Attached, 2 videos, 5 emails, 1 testimony. Inside was everything Elena had gathered. Alongside it, an email sent directly to the board by Maria Lentz, pledging to testify if required. Claudine looked up. Who among you was aware that our Beverly Hills showroom practices racial profiling? Silence. No one raised a hand. But no one looked surprised either. Across the table, CFO Matthew Chasseloup, a middle-aged man with horn-rimmed glasses, finally spoke, his tone measured. Beverly Hills has always been our most profitable location. They outperform Nice by 50%, Berlin by double. Tristan Webb delivers results. Claudine stared at him. And are you prepared to trade ethics for quarterly targets? Matthew said nothing. Then Cecilia Brandt, global head of PR, spoke up. The press will catch wind of this. It's already moving. I just got an email from Le Monde. They have video. I don't know how. Claudine didn't answer. She turned to her assistant. Bring in Madame Moreau. The glass door opened. Elena Moreau walked in, wearing a simple black turtleneck, hair in a low bun. No symbols of power, just unwavering eyes. I'm not here to justify, Elena began. I'm here to speak the truth. No one interrupted. She stepped forward, remained standing, and placed a remote on the table. One click. The flycam video played, Julian Carrere being warmly welcomed at the Beverly Hills showroom. Cut to Kofi Mensah. Same attire, same words. Denied without courtesy or cause. When the video ended, Elena continued, I didn't build this brand to become a European version of old world prejudice. I believed we could create luxury without exclusion. Clearly, I was wrong, because our system has betrayed that vision. Claudine leaned back, fingers interlocked. What do you want, Elena? I don't want, Elena replied. I demand. A pause. Immediate suspension of Tristan Webb. Full investigation of all showrooms using selective consultation models. Creation of an internal anti-discrimination compliance unit, monitored by a third party. And if the board refuses, I will hold a press conference next week with all evidence and live testimony from our own staff. A senior executive finally spoke, visibly unsettled. You're threatening the board? Elena didn't smile. I'm saving it. Claudine scanned the room. A few faces were pale. Others were nodding. Give me 36 hours, Claudine said, to call a formal vote. Elena nodded, then walked out of the room without another word. That evening, in a quiet restaurant near the Seine, Claudine Girard sat alone with a glass of red wine. She had worked with all kinds, the power-hungry, the misguided geniuses, the CEOs who performed more than they led. But Elena Moreau was something else. Elena wasn't doing this for fame. She was doing it to change how the world works. And maybe it was time the company changed with her. Los Angeles, 6:12 a.m. Tristan Webb's penthouse on Sunset Boulevard remained cloaked in darkness, save for the cold glow of his phone screen. The video played again. Him, smiling, hand placed on the hood of the Seraphim RS, giving Julian Carrere the full VIP treatment. Then the cut. A black man denied at the front desk. No cause. No warmth. Tristan sat motionless. Shirt unbuttoned, tie loose around his wrist. The video lit up his face like a warning flare. He'd been baited. No need to ask where it came from. Only one person could have orchestrated it. The unknown woman from earlier that week. The one he'd suspected but was too arrogant to verify. And now, the first message from Paris had arrived. Suspended from duty. Effective immediately. Office of the chairwoman. Tristan stood, poured a glass of scotch and downed it. He used to think Elena Moreau was one of those visionary idealists, too pure to survive the real game. He hadn't expected her to hunt like a predator. He'd underestimated her. 8 o'clock showroom, Beverly Hills, 2nd floor. No one knew Tristan still showed up. No one dared stop him. He locked his office door, pulled out a personal laptop, not company issued, and logged into a secured network. Recipient, Darius Clement. Title, Strategic Relations Director at a Geneva-based media agency. But within the industry, Darius was better known for something else. Narrative warfare during corporate crises. The message was short. I need a redirect. Urgent. Keep my hands clean. 10 minutes later, Darius replied. Spin through suspicion. Naomi Caldwell style. Tools ready. 70,000 euros. 3-phase release. Tristan smirked. He wasn't going down that easy. 24 hours later, Twitter, LinkedIn, Reddit. A new post surfaced. Elena Moreau, Electric Queen or Master Manipulator? The tone was sugary, never directly accusatory, but riddled with suggestion. This unusual investigation began only after the showroom failed to recognize its CEO. Could this be a high-stakes PR tactic to purge internal opposition? Anonymous sources claim Moreau exerts obsessive control, prioritizing faces that align with her political optics. Dozens of auto industry influencers, many of them controlled by Darius, shared the piece. New hashtags began to trend. Hashtag #PowerPlayMoreau. Hashtag luxury or leverage. Hashtag crisis or calculated. Paris, same time. Inside Daniel Rue's office, notification after notification from the comms team flooded in. He opened the sentiment tracker. Public opinion was shifting. From support to skepticism. Murd, Daniel muttered, then dialed. Elena answered on the first ring. I know, she said calmly. They're striking back. Fake news, conspiracy tones, rhetorical poison. We need a response. Press conference. A pause. No, not yet. If we respond now, they'll trap us in the realm of emotion. I want the final truth, the kind they can't spin. Daniel understood. You want Maria to go public? Not just her. I want the data, internal sales logs, conversion disparities. Numbers, not feelings. I'll have to dig deeper into the LA CRM. Might get messy. Elena's voice went cold. Clean worlds don't change through polite knocks. Across the Atlantic, in an unnamed boardroom, Tristan made a call. The man who answered was older, silver-haired, wearing Cartier frames. The board will vote soon, Tristan said. I need your ballot. I'm staying out of it. This is your war. But it could be your next seat if Elena falls. I'll guarantee it. A pause. I'll listen, the man replied. But remember, people like Elena aren't defeated. They're isolated. And then, they burn. Slowly. Paris, late night. The lights in Elena Moreau's office still burned. She sat before a massive screen, eyes locked on the dataset. Daniel had just sent over a massive Excel file containing 3 years of customer interaction history from the Beverly Hills showroom, secretly extracted from the internal CRM. No assumptions now. No testimonies. Just raw numbers. She zoomed in on the racial classification column based on self-disclosed data and internal notes logged during customer interactions. The words blinking on screen sliced through the thin veil of brand ethics like a blade. White customer conversion rate, 38.7%. Non-white customer conversion rate, 11.2%. 3 years. Nearly 7,000 interactions. A discrepancy nearly fourfold. This wasn't perception. It was discrimination, plain and statistical. She opened a forwarded email archive from Maria Lentz. One, in particular, stood out, a short internal message from Tristan, dated last year. Subject line, efficiency protocol. Focus on target customers. Sophisticated attire, understated. Confident, not loud. Not of color unless celebrity or verified VIP. Don't waste time on just browsing. Learn to identify. No spin could clean that filth. Elena shut the laptop. She wasn't angry. She was clear. Tomorrow she would go public. Los Angeles, early morning. Fairfax Avenue. Maria Lentz stepped into a quiet cafe, tote bag slung over one shoulder. Hair tied back, eyes tight with nerves. In the back corner, Daniel Rue was already waiting, laptop open, a lapel mic kit on the table. I'll have to show my face, won't I? She asked, not even sitting yet. Daniel nodded. For the story to be believed, it needs a living witness. And you're the only one brave enough. Maria laughed softly, without joy. I never wanted fame. I just don't want to keep pretending I don't see. Daniel slid over a confidentiality agreement and legal shield protocol. We'll protect you. Elena's insured it. You're classified as a whistleblower under EU and California law. They can't fire you. They can't sue. Maria signed. The signature of someone with no way back and no desire to retreat. Paris, midday. Bercy International Press Center. Elena stepped up to the podium. No peer handler. No branding team. Just her and the truth. Flashbulbs flickered as she opened. I have no speech. I only have data. One click. The screen behind her lit up. Charts. Percentages. Patterns. Over the past 3 years, our Beverly Hills showroom welcomed over 7,000 customers. And here's the truth. A white customer was nearly 4 times more likely to access our premium models than a non-white customer, even with identical financial profiles. Keyboard clatter exploded. Reporters began live streaming. I am CEO of Moreau Automobiles. And I refuse to let this happen under my name. Another click. A video began. Maria Lentz on camera, face pale, voice steady. We were trained to filter customers. That was the process. There were people we were told not to prioritize unless we were sure they could afford it. It was never written down, but everyone knew what it meant. Silence followed. No coughing. No flashes. Only Elena standing beneath the weight of her decision. Today, we begin a full reform of our global showroom strategy. Today, I formally request the termination of all personnel involved, starting with the director of Beverly Hills. And today, I issue this challenge to the luxury auto industry. Look at yourselves. Or someone else will. Applause began, not wild, but rising from the back rows, deliberate, earned. The sound of people who had waited too long to hear the truth spoken aloud. Los Angeles, same moment. Tristan Webb watched the press conference from his living room. His face pale. His phone buzzing with calls from lawyers, PR agents, risk managers. An email flashed. Emergency board session, 4 p.m. Dismissal vote pending. He hurled the phone. Stood. Punched the wall hard enough to draw blood. He knew the game had changed. But he wasn't done yet. Los Angeles, 4:47 p.m. Temporary meeting room, showroom, 3rd floor. Tristan sat at the head of the table. Still sharp in appearance, white shirt crisp, tie loose. But his right wrist was bandaged from his earlier outburst. His usual smirk was gone. Only one thing remained, a final play. The regional HR director had just read the suspension order aloud. Paris was voting to remove him. He had minutes, maybe seconds, to derail it. He glanced at the 3 men in the corner, his final allies. Men who owed him favors, backroom commissions, silent promotions. There's something you don't know, Tristan said quietly. Madame Moreau isn't as clean as she wants you to believe. Eyes shifted. In the past 2 years, we've hosted hundreds of high-profile clients, politicians, billionaires, even sanctioned individuals. Some of their files were pushed through by Paris. I have logs. Voice memos. No one interrupted him. This isn't a threat, he added. It's a warning. If I go down, I'm taking the system with me. I don't care who falls with me. Martin Cho, a head of customer relations, finally spoke. You're saying you'll leak internal documents? Tristan stared at him. I'm saying I won't go alone. No one voiced support. But no one objected. He knew what that meant. He had just planted a seed doubt. And sometimes that's enough to stall an entire revolution. Paris, same time. Boardroom, Montparnasse HQ. Claudine Gerard entered the voting room. We vote by majority. All in favor of terminating Tristan Webb for ethical breaches, discriminatory sales practices, and reputational harm, raise your hand. 12 members. Elena, per protocol, was not in the room. 1, 2, 7, 10. The 12th, Louis Varnier, a veteran board member, famously traditional. He hesitated. I scanned the room. Hand up, hand down, up again. 11-4. 1 abstained. Claudine nodded. Tristan Webb is dismissed effective immediately and blacklisted from the premium auto sector for 5 years under interbrand ethics clauses. That night, Elena sat alone in her modest office. No celebration, no champagne, just work. Her phone buzzed. A message from an unlisted number. You've won, but you haven't broken me. I'll be elsewhere. Watching. Waiting for your misstep. TW. She didn't reply. She shut off the phone. Opened a new file titled Brand Evolution Strategy from Legacy Luxury to Inclusive Prestige. She knew Tristan might disappear, but the system that built him? It was still everywhere, and the real war had only just begun. 1 week later, New York. Inside the glass-walled Met Pavilion, warm golden lights stretched across a neutral gray carpet. The backdrop behind the podium bore a message in 3 languages. Rethink Luxury, Tu Douai La Vie Sous Sang Trong. Global Summit on the Restructuring of the Luxury Industry. Elena Moreau walked onto the stage with a presence that required no theatrics. She wore a collarless white suit, a charcoal gray turtleneck, her hair straight and loose, no jewelry. In her hands was a document her team had spent months crafting, a future-facing framework titled Luxury Without Gatekeeping. The auditorium fell into complete silence. Luxury, she began, has long been synonymous with rarity and privilege, but rarity does not have to mean exclusion. She paused, perfectly timed. In an industry where customer experience is too often sold alongside the right to be accepted, it's time we ask, who defines the ideal customer, and why? Behind her, a slideshow played. A black man, ignored in front of a gleaming showroom, an Asian woman redirected, and finally, Elena herself, waiting alone in a showroom she owned, unseen by staff. I'm not here to tell a personal story. I'm here to describe a system, and any system built by people can be rebuilt by people. When the speech ended, applause lasted nearly 3 full minutes, not because she was a CEO, but because she had spoken what the industry had dodged for decades. Across social media, the hashtag #RethinkLuxury soared to the top trends in the US, France, and Canada. Competitors like Langston, Belanti, and Salvier released internal audit commitments. A major Swiss watchmaker announced the termination of a regional director after allegations surfaced. Only serve customers carrying a Birkin. The luxury industry was shaking. Finally, Paris, 1 month later. At the newly redesigned Moreau Automobiles showroom in Saint-Germain, Maria Lentz, now head of inclusive customer experience, led orientation for a new staff team. We no longer ask, do they look like someone who buys a car? We ask, what do they want? And how can we help? A young intern raised their hand, nervous. What if they're just browsing, not buying? Maria smiled gently. That's never a reason to treat someone poorly, because if they don't buy today, they'll remember tomorrow that this showroom didn't close the door on them. She wasn't quoting a manual. She was passing on what Elena had once done for her. That evening, in her office, Elena received a handwritten letter. No company header. No PR polish. I visited the Saint-Germain showroom yesterday. I wore plain clothes. No watch. And for the first time, I was greeted with the respect I deserved. Thank you for not staying silent. Adrian Keller. Elena folded the letter, placed it beside an old photograph. A young girl with curly hair, bundled in a thick coat, standing before the first Moreau Automobiles factory in Lyon. She wasn't looking at the camera. She was looking ahead, further than any road that existed at the time. Elena smiled softly, not because she had won, but because, for the first time, she saw a door that had once been shut on her. now opening for others to walk through.